be discussing my two linear, we could call them perspectives, we could call them different things, because if we're referring to some type of linear measurement, as you've explained, in the directions, it could be psychological, it could be mathematical. But I found generally my two would be a cubit and a furlong. So, and I decided to use those because those are what came to my mind. I didn't have to look them up. I didn't have to study. It just came up. So when I'm talking about cubits, it's a measure of length, and it's referring to the elbow to the tip of the middle finger. That is the length of a cubit. So we find reference to that in the older biblical texts, such as describing in Genesis when it talks about Noah's Ark, or the tabernacle, and in other parts of the Pentateuch where the tabernacle comes up. So we find that a cubit is really significant and important in the ancient Judaic 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch. Now, in modern times, the cubit kind of has dissipated, has gone away. We have tape measures. We have easier ways of measuring what we need to. And I want to be careful when I say easier. I would say that we have more precise ways of measuring things. So, but essentially, today we might say that in a linear perspective, at least in a drawing, when we're looking at a train track that's going down, we have the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. And that train track is running down. And that cubit, that essentially could be a way to describe a cubit of measurement by utilizing your forearm to find out that measurement. So what I'm saying is, as an example, is that maybe artists today do sometimes use that type of measurement. Now, in terms of furlong, not furlong, which also came to mind, I found it used more in like the New Testament. It's a longer distance. So, in terms, at least this is in terms of geography theory, or in terms of geography measurement, whereas a cubit might be a smaller unit of measurement. Furlong will be a longer unit of measurement. So, in ancient biblical times, one may say we find in any of the Gospels, and here we find maybe. I think in Matthew it did describe a furlong in terms of the distance from Emmaus to Jerusalem, which was several hundred furlongs in length. So it's just a very long unit of measurement. It would be 226, around 226 yards. So imagine like a football field. If we're talking about football, you could find it in there. But today it's not really used. The only thing I could find on Google in terms of furlong used today was sometimes in Myanmar, the country of Myanmar. And this has no relation to do with anything about teaching English. I'm referring to Myanmar, and that sometimes on their road signs, they have a furlong stated on their road sign. And that was the only thing I could really find. So, yeah. So I've described to you the biblical text used to describe linear measurements, and then I've described to you how they're used today, if they are at all. And then I give you examples of where in the Bible you might find those things. And that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you.